Hey everybody, Madison here with Health by Ratio. I just got done with a quick run this beautiful morning, and I am going to do a few minute cool down. I figured I'd record myself and give you guys a quick cool down routine that can be used really well, obviously after a run, but also hikes, long walks, that kind of stuff. Feeling a little bit tight, feeling a little bit like you push the body. This is a really great routine to reset. And for those of you who don't know who I am, like I said, I'm Madison, the founder of Health by Ratio. We are a completely online, holistic rehab and fitness program. So we help our clients move away from recurring pains, chronic injuries, that kind of stuff. And we help them not only rehab, but bridge the gap toward whatever activities they are passionate about most, whether that is exercise, athletic based, or if it's just being able to keep up with the grandkids and anywhere in between. And my team consists of licensed physical therapists, functional movement coaches, orthopedic movement specialists, as well as functional health coaches that help on the nutritional side as well. And like I said, we try to take this holistic approach with the health and fitness aspect of our lives. So without further ado, let's jump into some cool down techniques, because this is so important to make sure two things happen, and something that we teach all of our clients. If they have a passionate activity that they like to do to push their body, whether it is hiking, walking, running, that kind of thing, or something totally different, a sport. Maybe it's different techniques than I'm about to do today, but we always want to make sure that they have a good cool down in place. Doesn't have to take long, just about 5 minutes. And the purpose of it is to mitigate soreness. Like obviously we just broke down tissue. We pushed the body. Like on my run or a long hike or something along those lines, we're going to work the calves. We're going to get the calves and the supporting tissues around it, the soleus, the Achilles. If we're having some imbalances and stuff like that, we might be pronating a little bit, might be supinating a little bit. So we might get some perineal or posterior or anterior tib activations, whatever. But we want to address those things to help whatever we pushed recover a little bit. We might be getting the quads and the hamstrings, and hopefully, if we're moving well, the glutes should also be getting fatigued out. They're a prime mover of ours. Now, if you are running and hiking and you're not feeling those glutes burn out and they're not feeling like they're doing much work, there probably is a gait imbalance that's occurring, which is really common, where we start relying on things like our hip flexors, our quads, our adductor complex. We overuse the hamstrings and the calves, and we're not using our big prime mover. And that's normally a link to a lot of injuries and tweaks that occur around running, and something that we address really early on with our clients that like to run. We want to make sure that we're correcting that running gait so the glutes are activating as quick as humanly possible. So anyway, that's a good sign that, like, if you're not feeling those glutes burn out, then that means that there's something going on, and that's probably linked to any tweaks you might be experiencing. So if you can correct that, you're not only going to prevent the tweaks, but you're also going to become a much more efficient runner or hiker or even walker. You're going to be able to last longer. You're going to feel better doing so, and you're going to be able to push your tempo if you want to increase your speed, because you got this big, powerful muscle group activating. So anyway, we want to address all these tissues. Hopefully those glutes are waking up, and the rest of this lower leg, with some quick kind of dynamic stretches to get some blood flow going through the body, because these tissues just broke down. We want to make sure that we're getting new nutrients to them, and a couple of quick, like, broad strokes foam rolling techniques we can do to also complement this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invert my legs. Now, I can do this with, I have a big band here that I'm going to use, but this could be with a stretch strap, a towel, a rope of some kind of belt, whatever. I'm just going to wrap it underneath the bottom of one of my feet and lay down, and I'm going to invert this leg. So the whole idea right now is I'm just taking some time to let some of the blood drain out of this lower leg that's been used like crazy. While I'm in this position, I can do some movement, because that helps with the lymphatic system draining out inflammation. So moving around with the knee or pointing and pulling the toe, I'm getting some dynamic calf stretching while I'm here. That's just getting some blood flow. Then I'm going to do some windshield wipers across my body, where I'm going to let the foot invert there. That's going to get a nice stretch along the side of my leg here. I feel that all the way from my perineal down at the ankle all the way to the top of my IT band here. And then I'm going to open up like so to the other direction and get in a little bit of adductor, inner thigh stretching in and out. I'm trying to be mindful of my TV stand there. So trying to open up that leg back and forth. Not spending too much time on it, 20, 30 seconds. We don't have to really crush this. We've already really overbeat up these legs as is. We're just trying to spend that little bit of time to let blood drain out of the area, inflammation get out of that area, and get some dynamic movement to thoroughly hydrate these tissues with some good blood flow to let the body repair. And if something really feels like it got overworked and it feels good to stretch, like it has a hurt so good kind of sensation, feel free to kind of hang out. You can pulse into that and spend a little bit more time working that angle, whatever it might be, to just give it a little bit more love. If you notice one side tighter than the other, like your left leg tighter than the right leg, as you're doing this, that's probably an indication that there's some kind of asymmetry that's impacting your gait as you're going through it. All right, so that was inverting the leg. Got my kind of calves and my ankle complex all the way to the hamstrings there. The next thing I want to do is get my quads. And I'm going to combine this with my hip flexor here, where if you are capable, you're going to take a knee, have something nice and padded underneath that knee, have yourself supported by something that can kind of balance you with the same arm of whatever leg is forward. From the get-go, I'm going to squeeze my glute here. I'm going to start to feel a little stretch there. I can shift my weight forward just a little bit to feel that hip flexor stretch. And then I'm going to try to grab my foot and pull it up so I get a nice quad stretch while I'm squeezing that glute. Then I'm going to release it, and move into it again. Squeeze that glute, bring that heel up to the butt wherever I can comfortably tolerate it, and release out. So I'm just moving into this maybe 3-4 times, getting that nice stretch for a couple of seconds before I rinse and repeat. This is nice for those quads and the hip flexors simultaneously. Then I'm going to switch sides, doing the same thing, squeezing my glute, bringing the hips forward, bringing that back foot up. Now, if you can't do that, you can do a standing version of a quad stretch. Just make sure, again, you're squeezing that glute and you're going to try to keep the knee relatively tight instead of letting it flare out to the side. And you'll feel a little bit of that hip flexor and a lot of quad stretch. And you can switch, pick the leg up and then relax it, pick the leg up and relax it in and out a few times. All right, now we address the front side of it. Now let's get the glute a little bit. And this is where I'm going to incorporate the foam roller at the same time, and then I'll finish with rolling out the rest of the leg that I just worked on. So the foam roller, I'm going to grab a seat on this thing. I'm going to position my hands behind me, and I'm going to go into a figure four. I'm going to cross one ankle up over the other knee. And then from here, I can go into a stretch with this glute and then relax it. So I'm kind of pulling this knee toward my opposite shoulder to feel that stretch in my glute. And as I'm doing this, I can roll up and down. I'm not really trying to dig in to any one spot. I'm not sitting on one area for long periods of time. That would be more of a deep tissue release, and I don't want to do that right after I just work the tissue. If it's already broken down from my workout, that's not going to feel that great. It's just going to make me more sore. But I can roll along it to kind of create a light Swedish massage type thing, getting more and more blood flow to the area. That's the whole theme. Now, switching to the other side, same thing, crossing that leg, kind of angling my body onto that glute. I'm rolling up and down, pulling that knee toward my opposite shoulder, feeling that nice, good glute stretch as I do so. And then once I'm finished here, I'm going to flip around onto my stomach, and I'm going to kind of get into a quasi plank position here, where I'm going to have the foam roller even perpendicular to me, and I'm just going to roll myself up and down my quads. I can have my toes kind of on the ground to give me a little bit of assistance and relax the pressure, but I'm just rolling up and down again, not trying to do anything crazy with digging into one area. I can also have my feet straight down, or I can turn my feet out toward the sides a little bit so the toes are pointed more this direction. And as we're rolling up and down, if the feet are turned out to the sides, we'll get more of the inner thigh as we do it. So some reps, we can roll up and down with the toes straight down to the ground. Other reps, turn the feet out and get a little bit more of the inner thigh and kind of get some blood flow across this whole quad. And then finally, we're going to get to our calves and our hamstrings. So getting that foam roller sideways, perpendicular to us, And around the calves, I'm just going to take about 20 seconds. I'm kind of propping my butt just a little bit off the ground. I'm almost sliding my glutes across the carpet as I'm doing this and just applying a bit of pressure. Again, I can have the feet straight up. I can turn my feet more to the sides and get the lateral gastroc. If we have some pronation in our gait, then this is going to be a range of motion or an angle, I should say, that we really want to work. And after I finish that, I'm going to move this thing up to just above my knees, and I'm going to roll from my sits bones, that high, kind of low glute, high hamstring region, and then all the way down. Again, I can have the feet straight, or I can turn them out to the sides a little bit and get a different angle, the lateral aspect of my hamstrings, but just getting blood flow to all this tissue. And lo and behold, I've now kind of reset myself with a good 5-10 minute cool down to get some blood flow. And now I'm going to have the ability to mitigate some muscle soreness that occurred from my great workout. And I'm also going to be able to, hopefully, if I keyed in on any areas that tightened up, I'm going to see where certain imbalances might be impacting me. And I can also address some of those and kind of preemptively open them up so that as the day goes on, I'm not tightening back up. I'm not feeling like I'm compressing the body in weird asymmetrical positions that cause these tweaks that occur the hours and days after a workout when the body's stiff. We've already addressed it, so to speak. And guys, if you want any help on, if you're doing these techniques and you're like, yeah, I do notice a difference between the right and the left-hand side when I'm doing this stretch or this movement, there's definitely an imbalance there, and you want to understand where it's coming from and how to fix it. My team and I would love to do it with you for free. And we offer everybody 2 free calls. The first one is a phone call to understand what your goals are, to understand what your background in terms of your health aspect has been, like what is significant injuries, traumas, what have you tried to get healthy, all that kind of stuff. So we're on the same page with what your body's been through and where you want to go with it. And then the second call is over video where you and I meet up over Zoom and we take a look at how your body is moving in a number of different ways, including your gait. And we determine not only how your body's moving, but why it's doing what it's doing, so we can create a game plan together on what kind of stretches, what mobility techniques, what exercise you need to do to get this thing harmoniously moving again so that you can stay healthy, but also become more efficient at whatever activities you like to do, staying powerful, balanced, and all that good stuff. So if you're interested, feel free to click the link around this video that had the access to our calendar where you can pick a day and a time that works best for you. Outside of that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.